Martin, Director of Marketing at Independent Pictures, interviewing Korine on November 15th, 2000 at around 4:45. Why do you think some people find the film somewhat disturbing? Some people find it that. Why are some people polarized by the movie?
Again, I don't really have any kind of social insight or commentary to my movies. I mean, I could begin to dissect them in a kind of analytical way, but that's really boring for me. I'd rather just jump out a fucking window and just shoot myself. So I just do what I do because, like Bresson has said, that if there's no image there that existed before that you'd want to see, then you create your own image, and it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts. I don't. To me, there wasn't those images, so I made them. That's the only reason. If they had existed, I would have quit or not made the movie.
And how long, casting is something that seems like it's really an important aspect. How long did it take you to put the elements of Gummo together in terms of finding just the people who were going to represent what you wanted to see on screen?
Jeez, I don't see any longer than 35 minutes. I did it really randomly. Hired people out of factories and stuff. I gave myself 45 minutes to cast the entire movie out of like Burger Kings and slaughterhouses.
Did you brought
juke joints and stuff like that?
Weren't the main characters on some TV talk shows?
Yeah, well, the main characters, that's different. I saw them all on different talk shows about children who sniff paint and survive, or paint-sniffing survivors, which always inspired me because I mourn a lot of the paint sniffers who don't survive, so the ones who do, I think, have an extra good constitution, and I'd like to work with those people.
And the image of the bunny character coming in, it's really stark and really grabs you. Where did that, especially the ears, I know, where did that first come to you, that image?
I don't know, I just, it's hard for me to explain where I get the actual images from. I just wanted to see a boy with rabbit ears, but he took on certain aspects of a rabbit, but at the same time he was a boy. And I just needed a boy that was a rabbit to fulfill what it was that I was trying to say. All the characters in my movie are beautiful, even the ones that I find disgusting, and I don't see any one person as being any one way. And I don't think things are as easy and as simple as they are said or shown to be in most films. So for me, it wasn't hard or it wasn't complex, showing the complexity of these characters, of a girl with Down syndrome, showing her beauty, because her beauty is obvious and transcendent to me, and the idea of exploitation means absolutely nothing to me, because I show what I want to see, and I don't exploit people. I don't make people do things that they don't want to, but also it's not an argument that I care to fight or to defend.
One of the things that really struck me is the Daisy classic BB gun. Is such an icon of my youth.
I met a kid, the first time I ever thought about suicide was this kid who tried to overdose on 4 Advil, and I gave him, for 50 cents, I bought his BB gun, and I shot myself in the temple with it 12 times, and I got a terrible infection. That's really what for me it represents is an infection.
Were there any kind of magic on the day that you remember, or something really just like struck you and you thought, oh, that's great? We got like maybe the one guy destroying the chair, and after he loses.
Yeah, that would all be the last day of filming. Was the most intense, where he filmed, like, believe it or not, in the very last day he filmed like 2/3 of the film, because I'd waited for rain and prayed for rain, and that was the day. And that was the day, like, the guy fought the chair, and I did my scene with the dwarf, and the whole ending with the rabbit running into the camera while it was raining, and with the Roy Orbison music, and the girls kissing the rabbit in the swimming pool, and the bowling alley scene. That was all done in a single day. And after it was done, I pulled my pants down and threw my sister through a plate glass window and vomited in a yellow bucket, and woke up a few days later, and the film had been finished, and someone had stabbed me with like a little red army pocket knife. I think it was someone from the crew who was getting back at me. But that was a pretty intense day.
Did you just let the camera roll at some points to see what kind of magic you would get?
Most of the time, almost all the time, I just let the camera roll, let it ease on down, and suck you off.
Are the people behind the camera, is there anyone that you specifically wanted to have?
Well, Jean-Yves Escoffier, the cinematographer, was very much my partner in this movie, creatively, visually. I owe a great deal to his eye, because as he was filming the movie, because he's French, and he was definitely my first choice. He's someone whose images I'd always admired. He was the first person I approached, and it was great to work with him because he looked at things. Because he'd never been to a place like Nashville, and the place that I took him, so it was all like a third world country to him. So he was looking at it where it was really familiar for me. He was looking at it with eyes of like a frog. Well, which he is a frog. I am a strictly American filmmaker.
America also, though, puts such a heavy premium on narrative. How important do you think that is to its stories? I mean, some people get frustrated when they don't get answers, or when they don't see a beginning, a middle, and an end, or they don't have it clearly spelled out for them.
I don't really believe or I don't really care in a basic narrative. I don't see narrative in life. I see stories, and I love stories, but I don't see anything ever beginning or finishing, and I don't feel like there's a middle to anything in my life, so I just rather show scenes and just things that exist and go on and on and on. But I could care less about narrative. I think story is essential and characters are both essential. But as far as putting something in order, I think that's just something that's been done for the past 100 years and been accepted, and that's just I'm not interested.
Yeah, are there any aspects of humanity that should not be revealed? I mean, they're films. There's something. There's
absolutely not.
Yeah,
I think that people should reveal everything and anything that they want to. I don't think there's any such thing as a real taboo, and if there is, I think that it should be broken right away. I wouldn't shy away from anything. I don't think there's any way to go too far myself. I mean, there's things that people can do that go too far in a stupid and silly way just to do it for the sake of doing it, and I've got I'm not really concerned with that. I mean, the idea of shock for shock's sake, or, I mean, I'm a provocateur in a sense, but I'm not I don't find anything I've ever done shocking. And I don't think that I've done anything that's taboo. I just think I don't see things as taboo. I think that people think and have daydreams of all sorts of things. I mean, if the idea of making love to a 12-year-old girl passes through your mind, does that make you a bad person? Because we all have these thoughts. It's just that we don't necessarily act upon them. So I don't know. That's pretty much. I said too much already.